be going. And then that's all, so no questions.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we change the, Part D, that we change the organizational chart to make the chart all-inclusive. Do I have a second? Is there any questions regarding the motion? All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, I'd also like to make a motion that we accept the administrative section.
There's a couple names on that volunteer list. I see Brenda Powell and Bill Agnew. I don't know.
Shady character. Shady. We need character reference for
We may
this.
need a reference.
That's grandma. I move that you need.
Okay, we have a second for the administrative section. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries. Let's go to finance. Ms. Gandy?
Okay. Item A, we have a schedule of invoices totaling $747,503.18. I do have copies of all of our invoices. Feel free to ask questions or look after the meeting. Do you have any questions right now? Anything you'd like to discuss? Donna's giving me no.
Well, I just have to repeat myself on these items. We'll do that.
All right, item B is a contract with the State Auditor's Office to conduct our fiscal year 9/10 annual financial audit. Item C is our retirees. There's no questions?
Dr. Martin, you want to recuse yourself?
Yes, on the invoices, the first yellow sheet, the sixth item down where it says Branchland, Midkiff PSD in the amount of $181.21.
So let's make that, can you put that in the record that Dr. Martin's going to recuse herself? All right, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the financial statement. The particular part that I'm talking about would be for the Branchland Midkiff PSD, and please note that Dr. Martin has recused herself.
I'll second.
All right, the motion has been made and seconded to accept the payment for the Branchland Midkiff PSD. All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Now I'd like to make a motion that we accept the rest of the financial statement. Mr. Curry seconds that motion. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Personnel schedule. Ms. Lucas.
Well, as you see, we have one item. And that was approved, sent to us on October the 14th. And Mr. Midkiff. We have one there waiting. It just says concern with.
All right.
I have a question on that. Well, does that mean that Jeff will no longer assist with the math?
He will assist if needed. Hopefully we can find somebody, but he will not relinquish the math part if he's needed. He's committed to that, you know, to make sure it continues, and of course we are pleased that he would do that. But hopefully we can find someone that's quality. A lot of Title I issues and those things he will not be involved with. A lot of paperwork with all the money that's coming down. There's a lot of paperwork you have to do, and a lot of time taken on paperwork.
All right. I will.
And I don't know if this is right, and I just want somebody to speak to it before we
We'll do it under board concerns.
Okay, that'll be fine.
All right. Any other questions concerning personnel? All right. Let's move on to board concerns and discussion. Before we get started with board concerns and discussion, I'd like to go ahead and read a few things that we have received, if that's okay. This is from the West Virginia Department of Education. This letter states, Dear Mr. Roach, as the primary recipient of federal funds, the State Department of Education is required under provisions of the Single Audit Act and Office of Management and Budget, Circular A-133 to review the audit reports of all sub-recipients and to follow up on in any findings noted to ensure that such findings are resolved. We have completed our review of the audit report of Lincoln County Schools for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2009. The findings noted by the auditors were adequately addressed by the corrective action plan contained within the audit report, except finding 09-06. This corrective action plan states that Lincoln County makes every effort to attract highly qualified teachers, but cannot due to location and salaries. However, after review from WVDE Title II office, it was noted that Lincoln County must develop a highly qualified teacher plan to provide every core subject class with a highly qualified teacher. As a result, consider the fiscal year 2009 audit file closed, with the exception that the additional plan will be developed, implemented, and supported with the technical assistance from the WVDE Title II office. If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact me. This is from Misty Price, Coordinator of School Finance. All right, any questions?
So is that plan being developed, I guess is my
I believe that would
question.
be with Mr. Roach. Take care of that.
Yes, and you know that certified teachers, sometimes that's the most difficult thing to correct. And you can have a plan, but it doesn't mean it's foolproof.
Right. Have you
Yeah.
submitted a plan yet?
They're working on
We're working on a
Yeah.
plan. And that's through the Title II grant. And one of the things that they do through that grant is help with tuition, for people that are working toward becoming highly qualified. So that's part of the recruitment and retention and retaining.
All right.
Thank you.
I have one other letter. Go ahead.
I have a question. This audit here, does this audit have anything to do with our audit where we had findings regarding our food service?
it. Yes, it does, doesn't it?
Yes, that's our annual financial audit.
And so the findings with food service, everything has been taken care of?
And working on it, yes, I guess to their satisfaction, it's being worked on.
Corrective plan also? They had to submit a corrective plan, is that correct?
Yes, and I invited them back again a second time, the auditors, and sat down with my people and elaborated. And this year we have a person specifically with our folks, making sure there's nothing overlooked.
I'm glad you asked it, because I was confused too.
That was
Because I knew.
really a big concern for me.
Well, let me share one thing just so you'll know that not everything that you see is always accurate. We have USDA funds of food coming down from the feds, and they have very strict rules. Then there's rules by these auditors that they expect something, but when the feds tell you you don't have to do it, and then they say you do, and it's a finding. How is that understandable? It's not. So there's some issues, and I met with them, we talked about it, and I don't think we'll have those issues next year. That's just one example. Some things that we can do better. And I'm just saying not everything that audit is just like it's the people to blame that are mentioned. So I have no more need to talk about it other than specifically if you want to talk about each thing, we can go over the audit at a later date.
I just have concerns about the paper trail. If we're receiving these foods in and then we have nothing.
As
we're
I
not
said,
serving
you'd
it.
have to be there to listen to when that was done, another example. And I'm not saying that things could be better on the other side to help us. Another example, and I'm picking out the worst things on their side. Again, we have blame here. I'm not trying to say that we're perfect. Another example, if I come in and ask to see Donna Martin and she's not there, I come back the next day and say, I need to see Donna Martin. She's not here. And so they don't ask, they don't see her to find out, and so they write what they want. And I said to the person, I said, why would you not make an appointment with the secretary to let them know you want to see him? Just because you walk in one day and say, I want to see Donna Martin, and she's not there, and you walk out, and then you don't investigate to find out if some of this material, or, you know, records are here. And so I was not pleased at the procedure. Of course, they weren't pleased with my questioning, I don't think either. But we settled our differences on procedures, and as I said, I think this year will be a lot different. But there were some things that I didn't appreciate the way they proceeded. And again, I repeat, we are not, we have faults that we need to correct, and those are being corrected as the audit says. But there's other things that I think there was premature judgment made without talking to the person in charge, and they did not. So,
And that was by the auditors.
by an auditor,
By an
not,
auditor.
and this time we have a different person that's actually dealing with that area. And so I feel things will be done. Again, we are doing things differently too. But sometimes, you know, things are always not, that first review doesn't always mean they're accurate.
Mr. Rush, give them the example about in a recipe with food.
Would you share that for me,
When,
since you're more of a cook than I am?
but when you're looking at certain items and you're going to track if they've been used or not, if it goes into a recipe, that it's looked at differently. You don't have to track it because you've made it part of, you know, a recipe, such as eggs and butter and those kinds of things. So it might look as if we don't know where it went, but in essence, if you go back and track it, it would be in a recipe. You know, eggs didn't get made as eggs, but they were part of a recipe. And that was hard to track, that kind of thing. But it was used, the items were used at the school for food for the children. It just didn't, you know, the way the USDA asked for it to be reported and the way the auditors were looking for it to be reported was different. So that kind of was a little confusing to auditor and everyone
So
concerned.
Donna Martin really wasn't missing, she was the egg.
She
that
was
stirred up
in a
that
recipe.
I've been in worse places.
But anyway, I mean, on a much brighter note, what we can conclude from this is that, from what we just read, is that the findings noted by the auditors were adequately addressed by the corrective action plan contained within the audit report. And the only finding was 09-06. And I believe that we're working on that. So I think that that's something, I think that's a positive. Okay. Well, let's move on. And before we get into what's in here, I just received a letter, and basically this letter is for $4,000 for the speech and debate team tournament expenses. And it says, working with State President Earl Ray Tom, I'm pleased to inform you